Hello, my friends. Welcome to Research Reality. I am your host, Reese, and today I want to talk about, does God want you to experience what it is you are dreaming about, what it is you want to experience, right? Very simple answer, yes, but just why? Imagine for a moment, and I think we can all do this to a certain degree, that degree depending on your own self concept, actually. So I have this self concept that I am God and I am infinite. Now imagine if you were infinite, right? And you are completely aware of being infinite. You're aware of every single part of your infiniteness. When I say every single part, I mean you're not only aware of the pen, but you're aware of every single atom, molecule, and reality where this pen exists and what it has experienced completely, right? Imagine you try to watch a movie with this knowing. Every reaction that you could ever have, you would know. You wouldn't be able to have the reaction or experience the reaction. You would just be a knowing of everything all at once. You couldn't experience it at all because you would be the experiencing of all of it simultaneously on every level. It wouldn't even be new to you. It would just be what is. This is it. You could not experience it. So what could you do as an infinite being if you wanted to actually experience everything that you were? That's where you come in. You are that infinite being, that same exact infinite being who has completely forgotten itself. You see, whatever it is you remember is so small compared to what is unseen. That unseen is massive, doesn't even do it justice. Imagine it just goes on. Like we've all seen probably these images about how big space is and how big stuff is. Imagine it was infinitely bigger than that. Imagine reality was infinitely bigger, not just bigger, but backward and forward in what we conceive as time. Imagine all the variations and iterations of wherever everything can be at the same time. And you also see one tiny little fraction of it. But you are all of that. It seems so inconceivable. And even myself, I saw a picture. I saw a video yesterday where somebody was showing pictures of new satellite photos, new telescope photos of space, and even in a moment I was like, this is all within me. My God, this is all within me. And you really have to like sit there and say, this is all within me, and your mind's gonna disbelieve you and say, you know what, I accept that my mind is disbelieving this. It's okay. It's not gonna believe it. It's not supposed to. It doesn't do anything. It's your physical self is the complete experience of separation of what it is. But you are knowing that. You are the knowing, you are the awareness that this is all within you, regardless of how you feel about it. It's all an illusion of what it truly is. What it truly is consciousness manifest as infinity. And that's what it is. So, back to you. When you have a desire, it is God saying, here is a section of reality, of infinity, of us, of myself. I want to experience that. And you can say no, because as a consciousness, you can say no. But as a consciousness, you will also understand is that when you say no, you kind of simultaneously become aware that there is a version of you that said yes and is currently experiencing it. You see, we think that time goes like that forward and then we kind of split off. No, that section where you are experiencing it's simultaneously happening for all time. So even if you like 10 years down the line, the section where you didn't want to experience something, it's still happening where it's happening and what's all happening now. Your childhood is happening now. All the things you didn't feel like doing or did do is happening right now. You're just one aspect, a complete version of God that chose to physically experience something else. There is another you, which isn't you, but it's not separate from you, that is experiencing that which you did not choose to experience. It's the same consciousness, but you can jump back and forth to observe those frames of reality for your own experiencing. It's never not there. It's never not gone. That's exact experience. You say, no, but I can't go back to when I was 10. Well, you don't know that. You just made an assumption you can't do that. Right? And even my assumption is that you wouldn't necessarily need to go back to when you were 10 to experience something as if you were a child. You can do it now. You can have the exact same feeling and experience right now, but even that's limiting. I choose to believe in all things are possible. I choose to believe that if you wanted to shunt your consciousness back into a 10-year-old experience, you could. If you really had that desire, you could. I mean, there were plenty of people who said, I feel like I'm from such a different reality, and I want to kind of go back to a similar one. I've never heard from them again after that. No idea what happened to them, but I'm fascinated. You see, all things are possible. There are people who have experienced loved ones coming back to life. You know, I'm sure that gets a little esoterical, I guess. But it's not about whether it's true or not. It's about whether or not you are gonna assume infinity. If you just assume infinity, you say, you know what, I am being open to the possibility of that existing. It's not my current experience. I can imagine that experience. I can imagine my loved ones being here with me. I'm not going to believe in it or not believe it either way. I'm just going to assume that it's true. I'm going to assume that anything that I can dream of is true. I'm going to assume that anything that I can imagine is just a fundamental truth within me. But what I consciously choose to imagine is who I am, is who I'm being, is who I choose to be. Like, I choose to be that healthy, wealthy, free, and in love me. So, when you desire something, you have to understand is that the frame that you desire, that frame, you're holding your loved one, you have the money, you have the stuff, whatever. That frame is God. It is conscious. It may not be conscious in the way that we consider consciousness, but it is consciousness. It consciously wants to be with you. That's why it came to you. Your higher self moved you in a way to become aware of that frame of reality. Your higher self is that frame of reality. Your higher self is this frame of reality. You are your higher self. It's all just self wanting to experience itself from an omnidirectional, omniscient, omnipresent way. Your higher self is you. You are your higher self. That desire is your higher self saying, I am this. I want to experience my own I amness. Do you want to experience this? You can say, and the ones you want to say yes to, yes. Because God cannot do it without you. Your higher self can't do it without you. If you think you are insignificant, just remember this. Whenever you go to a mall, whenever you're driving, whenever you're standing next to somebody, whenever you are standing anywhere, and you see all these people around you, understand this little tidbit. That actual reality where you are standing there and everyone is perceiving you stand there and you are perceiving them perceiving you standing there. Without that, God is incomplete. Without that little nonchalant, unimportant thing to you, God's incomplete without that little thing. That's how important you are. That moment was as important as any other thing. You're just standing there being aware that you are awareness. And imagine that if you weren't there, imagine the entirety of reality is imagining you're not there. That's how important you are. That's how important your desires are. But they're all as equally important. No one desire is more important than the other. That doesn't mean you don't choose the one that resonates with you, that you want to experience. Obviously, we have some level of importance to one thing, not the other, because we wouldn't choose the other, we chose this. But a version of us chose that. You see, you are God experiencing God. God can't do that without you. You are infinity. All things just exist. And you just accept that all things just exist. That includes whatever you're dreaming. Now, how do I live my dream though? See, you are remembering your dream. The more you remember of your dream, is you remembering your dream. I know it sounds kind of but that's what you are here for. You see, you've already lived the entirety of your dream. Whatever your dream is, whatever life path you think you have a straight shot to live, you have lived it. Every moment, every iteration of it, you have lived it already. When you become aware of something, it is you becoming aware of memories of the identity that you are now. When you are remembering something, when you are experiencing something, when you have a desire in a certain way, it is this identity that you are being, all of the identities that you are being, just remembering parts of this identity that you have already lived. You've already lived it. You are actually, that's why I say, go to your end and stay there. By that, it's you are in the end of your identity. So everything you're doing is the remembrance of this identity. You are at, the identity is complete, and it's unfolding as your three-dimensional experience of reality. You are a film reel unfolding. You are the whole film reel. You are at the end. The end product is that film reel, that identity you is unfolding. That's who you are. That is exactly who you are. That's what's unfolding. And then when you persist in this knowing that I am this film reel, I am this film reel of my dream life. And the film reel is moving here in this frame, going back into nothing, back from nothing. It's here. It's unfolding in this like little square. That's your life. That's who you are. You are observing it while being in the frame. The frame is huge compared to us, but it's tiny because it fits within your awareness, and there's nothing else but your awareness of who you are. So when you are imagining something, you are shifting your viewpoint as awareness to the frame, to the movie that you desire to be watching, and everything is blending in simultaneously to that frame, that frame, that frame, that frame. Don't worry about where it is here. This part is the screen. 3D is the screen. When you watch a movie, the last thing that you have to care about is what's on the screen. And you don't even do anything with the screen itself. You just watch. Everything else is the projector, the camera, the people who made the movie, the actors in the movie, the blah, 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 blah. That's all done. You're literally choosing the movie by choosing your end, by choosing who you are. And that's shot on the screen, and the screen is 3D. So you can't do anything with the 3D. It's like trying to, if you go into a movie theater and you try to change the scene on the screen, you're just gonna hit the wall or the plastic, whatever is there. I don't even know what's there. Yeah. So you can't change the movie. You can't change the frame. You can only choose the movie as a different reel. And by realizing you are the reel, the projector, and the projection, I am that. So when I choose another frame of reality, consciously that I am infinity, I am God, I am projected as my 3D reality, I am choosing a screen where I am holding the love of my life, and they are looking at me as if I'm the only person they've ever seen in this, and I am in that love. I'm holding all the money that I could ever have wanted to buy everything that I could ever want. I can hear myself paging through it. I can feel the steering of this car that I want to drive. It's all real, it's all here, it's all within your awareness, it's all existing right here, right now, because you are choosing to project that movie. And you're playing it, it's you being and remembering that identity. The more you believe in it, believe as it, know as it, because belief kind of gets a bit iffy. Assume yourself that. No evidence other than your own awareness of it. And when you start to not believe it, say, okay, I'm not believing it, but I'm going to imagine deeper, making my awareness the only evidence that I require that this is who I am. And that's who you are. You see, God needs you. God will always need you. Because you are God. How can God not need itself to experience itself? Speaking of self, thank you all for being here from myself. This is Reaction Reality. I am Reese. I'm grateful for all of you. Infinite gratitude, truly. Thank you for the liking, the subscribing, the questions. Facebook group if you want to join, if you want to hang out. TikTok page as well available if you want to catch up on and see other stuff that's there. Much love, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care and love and light.